Oh hey, didn't see you there. I was just watching my new favorite TV show of 24 minutes, Survivor. She's my favorite.
Voted off the island. Sonya.
Life. The only thing you can play, eat, watch, and participate in all at the same time. Yet despite its popularity, it can often be monotonous and boring. It's the kind of thing where you gotta have a 9 to 5 at the poop factory just to put tap water on the table every other morning. It's not difficult to see why reality TV is so popular. It makes the viewer see a world full of ease, passion, and new drama every week to keep things interesting, instead of their life being a copy and paste of the same to-do list with the occasional doctor's visit for the annual scurvy check.
You can never be too safe.
Reality TV shows began to gain popularity in the early 2000s, with shows such as Jersey Shore, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, MasterChef, and Survivor. Now these are shows that are based around showing people's real reactions to scenarios. MasterChef is about showing real cooks and how they create their dishes. Real Housewives show what it's like to have enough wealth to get an economic victory in Civ 5. And then there's Survivor. Survivor is about real people living in the middle of nowhere, doing random challenges, and they vote or eliminate each other one by one to try and be the sole survivor left. Survivor was a genius idea that not only showed a variety of average people, like you, having a chance to win a grand prize, but also showed those same people forming alliances, gaining enemies, and knowing that only one of these characters you love or hate will stay until the end. It causes many people to stay invested in the show and incentivizes you to watch each episode to not get spoiled who gets voted out. It also caused me to be filled with so much hate and rage for Survivor that I'm officially boycotting the TV show. But what's gonna fill my need for elimination-based reality TV shows now? Well, Survivor's premise was so golden that it managed to keep the show running longer than the time it took to end 2 world wars. And with any good idea, there are those that try to make a slightly different version of it for profit. So if I can't watch Survivor, I might as well watch the next best thing. Absolute rip-offs. If we're gonna start somewhere, let's start with Chains of Love. This is a great starting point considering this was officially classified as a Survivor clone by an article from the Los Angeles Times in 2001. Chains of Love is an elimination-based TV show where one woman or man, called the Picker, is chained together with 4 people of the opposite sex. After each day, the Picker votes one of their chainees to be unchained and decides how much of a $10,000 pool they earn. The remainder of the money is split between the Picker and the final bachelor, or all of it could go to the Picker, so if the Picker wanted to, they could just take all the money. One by one, each bachelor is chosen by the Picker to be unchained. The time for a bachelor to be unchained is signaled by the arrival of this behemoth. This is the Locksmith. The Locksmith is the closest a being has ever gotten to being from the Shadowfell. This large gentleman shows up to unchain a bachelor from the Picker and takes them on a one-way trip to Brazil.
Soy libre. Adiós, mocosos.
Every time he shows up, they frame it like a horror film and play the Dark Souls menu noise. The Locksmith is easily the best part of the show. His mysterious and ominous character contrasts so much with the more laid-back, worry-free romance time, aka 4 people trying to outsimp each other. Besides having to spend their time together chained up, they also have to perform random challenges out of nowhere. Well, they could just be having a nice stroll, you check the time, and now they're ice skating while naked. There's no reward for doing the challenges either, except for not being a f***ing square. At the end of the episode, if the Picker decided to split the money with the final contestant, they have a chance to date off camera. Which you know is a hard decision, up to a possible $5,000 or getting to date the best of 4 people for 3 days. Unlike Survivor, each episode has a different cast of bachelors and pickers, making it possible to pick and watch any episode in any order and have the same experience, but also leaves no reason to come back episode to episode. Wait a minute, this show isn't like Survivor, it's just public bondage with a gimmick! I can't believe the Los Angeles Times would lie to me. I want something to test these people other than who can do the smolder. I want more of a challenge! The challenge is like Survivor, but to the extreme. In this show, teams compete against each other in a number of difficult physical challenges. These challenges could be anything to playing basketball on big hoops to math. After each challenge, teams are sentenced to an elimination round, and you'll never guess what happens to the players that lose in the elimination round. The ways these teams are chosen differs between season. Usually one of the teams is the one who scored the worst, other times it's the bottom 2, sometimes another team is voted in. The challenge can be very intense due to the intense physical acts some of these challenges involve, and everyone living in the same house for their time on the show. They're basically just filling a house with hyper-competitive athletes and recording it, which I have to say is very on brand for late 90s MTV. The challenge is actually one of the first shows to do something similar to the Survivor premise. It even came out before Survivor did in North America. But don't worry, they still stole the ideas from the Swedish.
The challenge, I have to say, is just far too intense for me. I mean, I get nervous watching paint dry. I desperately need something far less interesting.
Welcome to The Weakest Link.
Oh, thank God.
The Weakest Link is a fast-paced elimination trivia game hosted on BBC, or as I like to call it, Survivor for Nerds. In this game show, the players work together as a team trying to answer as many trivia questions as possible within the time limit. If they get a question right, the amount they win goes up to the next link. If they get a question wrong or choose to store their winnings in the bank, it resets back to the starting amount. At the end of every round, the contestants eliminate one of their own, dubbed the Weakest Link. Once only 2 of the strongest links remain, they go head-to-head with 5 different trivia answers each, with the winner getting what everyone banked, which is usually about 16 quid. It's a pretty standard game show, and the elimination doesn't carry as much weight as Survivor, with you only getting to know these people based on their trivia answers, and for less than an episode. You also get to hear from the contestants in a 30-second interview with them after they leave, but they're already gone.
I got the vinegar question wrong, slipped up on that. Obviously I don't know that much about vinegar.
The only person on the show we get to see the personality of is the host, Ann Robinson. Ann Robinson is the equivalent to an elementary school teacher who has a superiority complex because she surrounded herself with literal infants. She constantly belittles the contestants and harshly judges them on their elimination choices.
Jojo, dear oh dear, who has not been paying attention?
While other popular game show hosts like Alex Trebek, Steve Harvey, and Toad go for a more charismatic, likable approach, being not afraid to joke with the competitors while they do something stupid but keep a lighthearted tone, Ann goes for the throat and balls.
And what are you studying?
English language and linguistics.
I didn't think you were studying hairdressing.
Do you not like it, Anne?
Otherwise we'd need a refund, wouldn't we? I suppose we're all paying for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Questions on opera, literature, geography, television, animals. There's no end to the list of things you know nothing about. Who, obviously, is not the brightest daffodil in the bunch? Darren, wasn't much of a round for you.
Possibly right, but I don't like an extra from Space 1999.
What does that mean?
I just, making fun of me, I just thought I'd have a quip about the way you dressed.
What?
It just looks a bit odd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's not much you see Miyake in the Ronda, then.
No, none at all.
She's harsh, witty, robotic, and some people like her. She's basically the personality of Worst GLaDOS.
So, Jenny, the receptionist, are you just decoration out front? Maybe next time you go for a makeover, they could brush up your brain power.
Ann Robinson was so uncharismatic of a host that instead of having her narrate the intro, they got the voice of the MLG text-to-speech.
Here are the 9 contestants preparing for today's show.
The Weakest Link is kind of interesting, but in the I won't change the channel if it's on and I'm stuck in a hospital bed type of interesting. I just want something kind of like Survivor.
Let's look at something so much like the source material, it's basically the same show. Big Brother is not only one of the biggest rip-offs of Survivor, but one of the first to do so as well. The Big Brother production team was so eager to rip off Survivor that they started production before Survivor's first episode came out. Those scumbags! Big Brother is about a group of people forced to live. Isolated in Pee-wee's playhouse until all but one are eliminated. Once a week, the house partakes in 2 challenges. One to decide head of household, which gets to pick the 2 people the other house guests can vote to eliminate for that week, and another competition for the power of veto, which allows the winner to choose one of the eviction nominees to be safe for the week, having someone else take their place. The main gimmick of Big Brother is that they are being recorded 24/7, though only the interesting bits are shown to us. So it's basically a vlog collaboration, but with minigames. Big Brother is the more civilized version of Survivor. Instead of being in the yucky, ucky outdoors, you get to live in a mansion out of a Picasso painting. Both shows came out in America within the same 3-month span, which is very interesting considering how when broken down to the core elements, they are nearly identical. Take a group of strangers and isolate them from society, focus on letting the viewers get to know the contestants as they eliminate each other and win challenges to save them from elimination, and win a handful of bucks. Some of you may be asking, why is this show called Big Brother, and also is there a little brother? To the second question, there is no canonical little brother yet. Big Brother is named after the ruler of a fictional totalitarian state in George Orwell's 1984. The thing the Fortnite commercial was based off of. I get why it's named that, because the entire house is constantly being watched, like how in the book the citizens were under constant surveillance. I just don't get why they want to associate their fun, colorful, drama-filled reality show with, "We detected that you thought about the government being bad. You're going to the brain-fixing center. Take him away." Big Brother leaves some intense moments and unforgettable players, but I get a little uneasy seeing an artificially positive version of the scenario Big Brother represents, and a lot of the show just feels like filler to me. Real people can be very entertaining and surprising and relatable, but they also can be bland, forgettable, and meshed together. I mean, that's the entire premise behind Where's Waldo. The challenges also have to be set up for the chance of everyone on the show having the ability to complete, which can end up making some of the challenges repetitive or boring to watch. While reality TV shows were booming in popularity during the late 2000s, cartoons were having a rough time. One of the biggest TV networks for cartoons, the Cartoon Network, wanted to make reality TV shows now.
I didn't know Cartoon Network hired Einstein!
This decision proved to be awful in every capacity for Cartoon Network, and the executives of Cartoon Network were about to sell the network to Ninja so he could form the gaming network. There just wasn't a way for reality TV shows to be successful on the Cartoon Network, the CEO of Cartoon Network cried out into the night sky. But across the ocean in the distant land of Canada, TV executives realized, why not both? And Total Drama Island was born. Total Drama Island was a product of Teletoon in Canada, the same team behind 16, which was based on Half-Life. Total Drama Island was a cartoon parody of Survivor, where 22 teenagers, based on different stereotypes, try to survive challenges and are voted off the island until one remains. This show uses the golden scenario ripped straight from Survivor, but with the ups and downs of being an animated show. The main draw of it being a cartoon helped tap into an untapped market to the reality TV genre. Gremlins. Yes, children. Children who had not been introduced to the realm of reality TV, well, good reality TV, could now see what it was like to be a real teen, but also a real cartoon. Total Drama Island had the benefits of an older target audience than the rest of Cartoon Network's shows. All kids want to do is grow up into a teenager. You think teenagers want to watch Chowder? No, teenagers want to see the cartoon goth girl's panties. Although Total Drama mimics reality TV, the characters and events are written.
I couldn't believe it either.
Meaning that dull moments can happen a lot less often, and the votes and scenarios can lead to a more engaging overarching story. And unlike Survivor, which uses real people that have complex personalities, like the people I see out there, Total Drama's characters are based off of common teen stereotypes. We have Jock, guy with guitar, dumb blonde, her friend in band, farm kid, Napoleon Dynamite, the weird girl, goth, Discord simp, Amazon, know-it-all, punk, fat kid, gentle giant, Instagram model, the girl who says I'm going to business school and going to be more successful than you, surfer girl, cowboy, echo fighters, this bitch, and Lashana! The characters being based on popular archetypes not only give the viewer an idea of the character's personality when they could be leaving so quickly, but also gives them room to expand from their archetypes. Gwen, for instance, in the first season is a lot more gothic than in the other seasons. Duncan, though he keeps to his delinquent archetype, grows into more than just a Grand Theft Auto NPC. These characters being animated also helps distinguish them physically from one another at a glance, as to not alienate their iPod Nano watchers. The character designers did a fantastic job to where this day, with nearly 100 different characters across all seasons, you can pretty easily distinguish all these characters from each other. Though the show being written helped it stay interesting and flesh out its characters, it also was one of its biggest downfalls. Even though there are these giant death-defying stunts, you know none of these characters are going to be anti-born. And the bigger the stunt, the more they break my precious immersion. The fact that these regular teens went from getting a full-body cast after a bear attack to surviving an entire plane crushing them, among other things, made them seem a lot less grounded in reality, like in the first season. This is why I think with the exception of World Tour, the show is considered to degrade in quality with each season passing. A lot of the time, the character being voted off is super predictable, and characters can get saved or eliminated basically whenever the writers want them to. The characters also degraded as time went on, with them running out of archetypes like supervillain, fake wizard, beatboxer. And a lot of the characters that were already established got washed down as time went on. Most notably the host, Chris. Chris went from being an ecocentric host to a complete sociopath. Total Drama in recent years swapped its format from a Survivor clone to a clone of The Amazing Race, which in itself ripped off Survivor. The Amazing Race. For this video, I decided to watch The Amazing Race Canada, because I like to stay educated on distant cultures, and it was the first one I could find on YouTube. The Amazing Race is a reality TV show where teams of 2 go on a race across, well, in this case, Canada. Though it could be a race really anywhere, like it's only a matter of time until the Amazing Race loads. Each segment of the race, called a leg, is marked by a rug, called a pit stop. In each leg, the teams travel to their destinations through every mode of transport possible, besides fast travel. That would be cheating. Along their way to the pit stop, they encounter route info on locations of challenges they must complete or suffer a time penalty. There are a lot of different types of challenges, some being roadblocks, a challenge only one member can complete, or a detour, which gives them the option to pick between 2 different challenges. Challenges are usually based around a cultural site or tradition in the area. For example, a challenge at Niagara Falls would be to get married. After completing the challenges, the last team to make it to the pit stop may be eliminated. The Amazing Race is one of my favorite among these clones. Not only does it remain suspenseful and I get to watch the teams interact amongst themselves, but I also get to learn a bit about these places. I mean, who knew Canada had something that wasn't snow? However, The Amazing Race lacks that social aspect the others have. Sure, I mean, people could save you a cab, or not U-turn you, but ultimately you could be an insufferable lunkhead to everyone you meet, and as long as you're good at the challenges, it doesn't matter. But you still get to see the contenders interact, just mostly inside the teams rather than between the teams, still allowing it to show off the colorful personalities of their contenders.
You wanna know what doesn't?
Fox's Boot Camp. Fox's Boot Camp takes the Survivor formula and says, this worked, but what if we did the opposite? Instead of taking people from the uniform way of life to show them without societal pressures, they instead take 16 people and make them go through boot camp and intentionally try to suppress their personalities.
Man, Einstein's working everywhere these days.
Some of these guys are more interesting than Stuart Little.
What is Mr. Lemon do? What does he do? Mr. Lemon is a stuffed lemon. Okay, and
we get
what
that
is his
part.
function?
We got degrees. So what is it?
Mr. Lemon is just around to make for a nice atmosphere.
What kind of friggin' dog are you making, Yaney?
Boot camp focuses on the squad, which is a team filled with 16 civilians. After each day, the squad would have to do a challenge. If they succeeded, they got a reward, and punished if they failed. After each night, the squad would have to vote off one member, but that member they vote off also gets to eliminate someone else on the squad for any reason whatsoever. Like, for example, you didn't like and subscribe and share and ring the bell. Yeah, I don't know why out of all of the scenarios for an elimination-based show, they went for one based off of military training. Though I can't say the show was completely awful. It's still very satisfying to see people push past their limits. And the drill instructors get so overly riled up at some of the littlest things, it's extremely comical.
Stop it! Stop it!
I just got a call from the hotel manager. Remember the 2 little mitts that they put on our pillow for our rat? One's missing. So another hotel guest was cheated out of their mitt.
Kiss your wife right now. Kiss her. Bye, hon! Bye! Hi, I'm his new pal!
You know what I think of this poodle, Yaney?
Get out of my face! I said get out!
But a big appeal to Survivor and other reality TV shows is that it would be fun to be on the show. If I wanted to be on boot camp, I'd join the military. But what if I wanted to join Survivor, but I'm physically inept and I have gamer disease? Well, I happen to be in luck. As it turns out, my crippling disability will not stop me from enjoying this game. There are Survivor game modes for pretty much any popular sandbox game, and by that I mean Minecraft and Roblox. I do not play Roblox. I've played in a handful of Minecraft-based ones, and they were really fun, but also really stressful. I also played in a Discord-only one, and not to brag, I got robbed. The only real difference between the mediums are the types of people you'll encounter and the types of challenges you'll do. Like, you're not gonna be doing baby stuff like standing on a log for 40 minutes. I can do that while AFK. Try ladder parkour. The Minecraft Survivor community is almost always running games, and it's by far the easiest way to play Survivor that I've found. There are ones that are recorded, like this one that I'm in, and plenty that aren't if you're camera shy, or hiding from the IRS. It's super fun, and a lot more nerve-wracking than I would have thought. Its community is also pretty close, which is good and bad. It's nice once you're a part of it, because you kind of know what to expect from some of these people, and most of them are pretty cool and kind. However, if you're new, sometimes people just vote you off because all the same 4 mini-alliances agree to pick you off first. Luckily, everyone loves me! There's no way that any of my new friends would want to vote me off.
The 7th person voted out Yoshi.
You know, f*** this. I don't need Survivor or any of its crappy knockoffs. I don't need reality TV or video games to give me suspense. I'm gonna go live a little.